revolutionary new approach to curbing street violence in one California city, paying young men who are often armed and potentially dangerous not to shoot, bringing arch enemies together, diffusing the lethal anger that can be sparked by something as simple as a Facebook post. Here's my Nightline co-anchor Byron Pitts with our series, Face to Face.
See, when I first saw this the first time through, I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. They're paying kids to not murder each other. Like the idea of it is just fucking just.
Dewan Rice is just 19 years old, but he's already had to say goodbye to 7 friends, each one murdered, and he's fed up.
That's cold, bro.
Today he's paying his respects to 2 brothers buried in one plot, shot dead on the same day. He tells us he didn't cry when they died, but the tears are coming now, and something else, anger.
What are you thinking? What are you feeling?
Pain, man. Like real pain, bro. You know what I mean? Make me want to act in violence.
Watch closely. Grappling with an urge to avenge his friend's violent murders, Dewan pulls out his phone. He's about to make a life or death decision, whether to call his boys and retaliate.
I had to sit back, and I gotta think, whether to go left or whether to go right.
It's a nuanced issue. It's an extremely complex, nuanced issue. People like to boil it down to simple things. Race, gender, whatnot. Poverty, that and the other thing. And it's more complex than all that. It's everything. It's the whole thing. Everything. And it's a tangled knot. It's an extraordinarily tangled knot. It's a puzzle knot. And you have to tug at the threads very, very, very carefully. Because if you pull the wrong one at the wrong time in the wrong way, you're never going to get that knot undone. So, the first time I watched this, I don't know, man, I was just stuck into the mindset of I can't believe they're paying kids to not fucking kill each other. But as I watched it more and more, I don't know. I think lives are worth saving. I don't know what price I'd put on it, but
5 bullets came from a white Mazda.
A brother and sister shot to death in Richmond last night.
This potent mix of pain, anger, and teenagers with guns, making Dewan's hometown in Richmond, California, at one point one of the deadliest cities in America. Here the streets are hunting grounds. Corner after corner, young men run for their lives. Those puffs of smoke, bullets, chased by an armed rival. And here, a calculated hit is underway. 2 men calmly walking before they open fire, lighting up the night.
Every night on the news, you'd think this was Beirut.
yeah, that must be the local news. Because national news doesn't really talk about black kids killing each other. Because it's just too common and doesn't fit the narrative. So he must be talking about local news. Local news generally has their shit together.
You'd be afraid to come to this city.
In 2007, the city bought in Devon Bogan, who came up with a controversial solution. Pay the young men like Dewan not to pull the trigger.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. The better the behavior, the better the paycheck.
Ain't that funny?
This month, Dewan got the maximum, $1,300.
$1,300. That's a lot of money to just stay alive. And to just not kill other people. Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. Again, it turns into one of those things. What price do you put on a life? It's really weird. This is really weird because, man, it's really weird. The first time I watched this video, this was a very different video. And now this is the 3rd time I'm watching through it, and, you know, I don't know what to say anymore about all this. So, fuck me.
Congratulations, bro. Thank you. Thank you.
That day at the cemetery, he chose not to avenge his friend's death.
Everything you do is going to have a reaction, you know what I mean, and a consequence.
You want first check status.
Dewan is just one of 24 men in an 18-month-long fellowship that's run out of Devon's Office of Neighborhood Safety, or ONS, mostly funded by taxpayers.
Taxpayer money. I don't know, though. Isn't it worth taxpayer money to fucking keep the streets a little bit safer? Isn't that what we pay our taxpayer money for? God damn it.
That's our rent right here, boom.
There are people we've spoken to who believe it is wrong to pay a kid not to kill somebody.
Man, I don't know. Money's so much easier to come by than a human life. I don't know. Just shit.
Well, that's not what we do. In fact, I never tell a young man to put his gun down. Their job is to get their lives together.
Now, see, I like that. See, this dude is the one that, he's the one that fucked this whole video up for me. Like, I really like this guy. I think he's got his shit together. He's figured out the knot. I like this guy.
I painted all those cabinets right there.
Dewan also got a real job.
When the people come in here and they move into their house, they would never know that a little black kid from Richmond did it. You know what I mean? They'd never know.
See, originally my point here was going to be they wouldn't care. Like, it wouldn't be a thing that they'd give a fuck about. But thinking from his perspective, he knows himself. He knows his past. He knows what he's done, what he's been a part of, what friends of his has done, family members and whatnot. So he's thinking of it from that angle. If they knew it was me. He's saying if they knew it was some little black kid from Richmond, but that's not what he means. He means if they knew it was me doing this, they'd be like, Jesus. So, yeah, I totally get the sentiment here a lot better now that I'm thinking of it from his perspective. Funny how that happens.
Progress for a young man who was first arrested at age 12 for armed robbery. He says he was homeless and stole an iPhone to help his single mom pay the bills.
That's where, I mean, it's a complex issue. Because you have to weigh the mindset of the law is the law and the heart set of, you know, kids starving. That's a tough one, you know. You can't just say that sort of thing's allowed. Shit devolves into anarchy. But at the same time, how do you stop a kid from eating? It's a very complex issue.
Devon says he was well known on the streets.
A serial shooter.
That's what they would say. I called him a leader.
A hunter.
That's what they would call him. I called him brilliant. Working to survive.
Working to survive. I don't like the tone that puts to shooting people and robbing and selling drugs. Working to survive. It is what it is. I get that. They're just working to survive. I understand. But again, it's the term. It's the term. It's the way the term sounds. Somebody in the stream last night, we were talking about transgender people, and somebody said, I don't understand what's so wrong with just being an it. And I'm like, well, nobody wants to be an it. Like, nobody wants to be referred to as it. Like, that. It just sounds bad. Like, you know, it is a way to go. It is what we refer to things that we don't quite know how to identify. That thing over there, you know, whatever. But it doesn't sound good. It's dehumanizing. It makes it very, very less personal. You're an it. You're a thing. You're you know, an interchangeable term that could mean anything. Like, that's And saying working to survive in this respect, it's kind of like that. Kind of like being called an it. I don't like the way it sounds. It sounds like it's glorifying. But it is still what it is, working to survive. I mean, that's how they put food on the table. It's a very complex issue. I will say this is certainly not changing my mind on whether or not the law should be upheld. But I get where they're coming from. I get how you can wind up in the situation where you think that you have no other choice. But you do have a choice. You always have a choice.
They said all of this, boy?
To help the fellows navigate life or death choices, Devone enlisted men like James Houston and Sam Vaughn, who themselves have rap sheets for violent crimes.
And let me tell you, City Hall was like, what? We're going to be looking to hire men and women who may have murder in their background?
Their background, one of the things that makes them particularly suited to the most crucial part of their job, interrupting violence.
Hello?
I see that, I would agree with totally. There are a few things in life, I think, that you really can't have counselors who've never really done it and been there. Getting kids out of gangs, you gotta have people who've done it themselves. Getting people out of drug addiction, you gotta have people who've done it themselves. You have to have good, tangible, in front of your face proof. There's that guy that I know that he did it. Like, you need that shit. So I like the idea of that. You gotta have that, especially in this type of a situation. Have to have it.
The fellow calling tells James he thinks he's being hunted.
What kind of car?
A car filled with suspected rivals, parked in front of his house. Unarmed, Sam and James put their lives on the line to stop a potential shooting.
I'd rather protect myself than be screaming for help on the ground.
We're told to keep our cameras down because the young man asked us not to show his face, his house, or use his name.
I'm telling you, serious, couldn't take my word.
But I'm telling you,
calm down.
yeah. But what I'm saying is,
only be so
what
damn
I'm
calm when
saying,
my life
what I'm
is straight.
saying is,
wherever it is right now, they just a dead man walking.
Let us try to deal with this.
See, and there it is. There's where that situation is. But it's the retaliation. Violence happens. Violence happens. One guy pops off, kills another guy. And then you pop off, kill one of their guys. And then they kill one of your guys. And then kill one of their guys. And that's the thing. Sooner or later, somebody's got to go, look, I'm tired of living in fear. I'm tired of having to look over my shoulder when I go down the street every fucking where I go. I'm done with it. I'm going to not kill any more of you. I'm going to ask that you please not kill me. And I'm fucking out. Like, that's the point where you got to hit. And then those people, they go, well, we're just going to kill you because you think you're going to get out. Like, dude, it's that culture. That super violent gang mentality culture. It's got to go. And it has to be the people involved who decide to make it go. Rap music has got to stop talking about it like it's fucking amazing lifestyle. Like you can walk into every club and you're big boy, you know? And fucking everybody respects you and fears you. And all the women want to be with you because they're dangerous and that's so sexy. And all this shit. Got to stop making it look like that. Because you don't talk enough about the fucking 90% of it where it's you're afraid for your life and you're running. Like, God damn it.
Sam and James stay with him until he calms down.
for a minute it was a hard choice, but then again, I had to really think about it.
It is a cry for help. It just isn't a typical one. Because they don't want to do something, but they feel like they have to.
Yeah, man. You got guys sitting in your fucking car across the street from your place just watching you. Like, I get it. I get it. I totally get it. That's the thing. You gotta walk out there and be like, man, just leave me the fuck alone. I'm out. Like, I'm tired of this. I don't want to live in fear anymore. It's done. It's not worth it. I'm gonna go get a real job. And I'm gonna fucking just survive. Like, Jesus Christ. They all gotta get there. They all gotta realize that it's not as cool as they think it is. But it's the guys at the top where life is always cool. Selling the dream.
In a 5-year period, the number of homicides dropped 76% across Richmond, a number that can't be attributed to ONS alone. But ONS says the proof that their approach is working. The vast majority of fellows are still alive.
I see, that's pretty cool. Like, those are some pretty good numbers. I like that. And that's a pretty hard fact. It's not like you really, I mean, 94% of them are still alive. You know, it's not like that's not something you can't look up, you know. That's a pretty silly one to lie about. So, hey, that's cool. I like that. That almost sounds like it's saving lives. Again, you can't really attribute it all to it, but I don't think it's hurting. I don't think this is making things worse. Shit, whatever fucking helps. You know, you gotta, at some point, you gotta go, look, the problem's pretty bad. We'll take whatever helps. I'd fork over my little tax portion for that. Shit, why not?
So we want to expose them to a world where they go from, I don't give up, to a place where maybe I do.
Dewan's been doing so well, he's qualified for the next huge reward in the program, an all-expenses-paid trip to D.C. and New York City. But there's a catch.
You have to be willing to travel with someone that's trying to kill you or that you're suspected of trying to kill.
Dude, this guy is one smart cookie. I gotta tell you. He really is. He's one smart cookie.
Go to school every day.
Dewan will be paired with Mariko Williams from a rival neighborhood.
New York, Yankee thing.
So far, 18-year-old Mariko has not been shot. But his mother fears it could be a matter of time.
I worry a lot. Every night, every day. I pray.
What's your biggest fear?
That I have to bury him.
God, how the mothers of these kids don't just fucking cry from the moment they walk out to the door to the fucking moment they come back in. Man, I just never understand it. Jesus Christ. And how these kids do that shit to their mothers.
ONS is about to bring together Mariko and Dewan for the first time for a pre-trip meeting, each joined by another fellow in the program from their own neighborhood. The change agents stay close by. A face-to-face meeting like this can turn deadly in an instant.
Let it be known that you little tripping, feel me? That you little tripping with it, because now y'all making it seem like we tripping and y'all tripping and we making y'all trip.
Dewan says Mariko's crew disrespected one of Dewan's murdered friends on Facebook. Social media posts have been a flashpoint for violence here in the past.
Of course it is. Because people are so quick and willing to say shit on the internet that they would never say face to face. And that's exactly why.
You look tripping. Feel me?
Finally, Mariko and his friends agree that the post should be deleted.
So we said?
Yeah. Navigating this conflict with words, not violence, is a big step for these young men.
Without this program, we would have never met. We would have never had an encounter like that. It would have been negativity.
So how is it that you guys get along now?
How?
You and the guys in the program?
Oh, because we have a conversation.
So you can settle differences that maybe in the past might have been settled with guns. You settle.
We're talking it out. Bro, whoop-de-whoop, whoop-de-whoop-de-wop. There you go. You know what I mean?
No, I have no idea what you mean, but I get it.
Oh, okay. That's all.
Settled.
This scene could have played out differently. The change agents say many of the fellows in the program still carry guns for protection.
How do you square that with if you are trying to teach them how to function in society, but yet they're still strapped?
Right now, we're just trying to teach them not to deal with their conflict with violence. I'm not saying it's okay, but I'm saying I understand your reality.
See that, man? It's a knot you have got to untie very carefully. Because these people are trying to survive. And you're trying to encourage them to do it in a way that's non-violent. I like that, man. These guys are smart. That's why you gotta get people with that experience. People who know how to get out. You gotta get the people that know how to get out to help people get out. God damn it.
But so many armed men on the streets relax, is not a reality police here are comfortable with.
So I don't know what they're doing on the street level. They're kind of on their own track, and we're on ours.
We're with them when a routine traffic stop.
There's a point where like asking people nicely just stops.
Turns into an armed standoff.
Hey, close the door. Close the door.
In the car, please.
Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Hands up. Hands up.
Firearm.
The driver has a gun out in plain view.
Cover.
Keep your hands up.
Not uncommon in Richmond, where protection from being hunted can be more important than hiding the weapon from police.
Don't move. If you move, you're going to get shot. Do you understand?
Luckily, he obeys.
Step out. Step out. Put your hands behind your back. Put your other hand behind your back. Put your other hand behind your back.
In this car, 4 men, 2 guns. No shots fired this time.
Move over. He may bail out before I even get off work, you know? And there's 2 firearms recovered in the vehicle.
And people are surprised that people get shot by the police. Dude, I'm honestly surprised more people don't get shot by the police.
Other cities struggling with gun violence, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Oakland, are now asking Devone for his help.
Is there any sense that maybe you're coddling these kids who need a firm hand, who in some instances perhaps need to be incarcerated?
Absolutely. Their growth and development requires a little coddling, coaching, discipline. That's what they get here.
My late mama will call all that loving on these boys like parents.
Brother Byron, that's exactly... It's not that hard. These young men shoot because when they shoot, they matter. It's when we pay attention to them.
Like I said, man, it's the glitz and the glamour of being a man with bodies on you. Like, but yeah, I get what he's saying, man. Like, it's the culture you live in, so it's always around you. You eat, breathe, and sleep it, and so you constantly have to have somebody constantly holding you by the hand, walking you through the other path, because there is no other path that's readily visible, because everything else is just this. It's the culture. God damn it.
It's finally time for the big trip to the Northeast.
For like $1 million.
So many firsts. Far from the streets of Richmond, the rivalries and reality of living there seem to dissipate.
Blue strips. People say, what's your theory of change? Blow these young men's minds on life.
Show them what's possible.
Show them what's possible.
From the corridors of power.
This is raw right here. This a boy.
To the skyline of New York City.
See, dude's smart. When you take somebody out of their environment and pair them pretty much with anybody and take them somewhere that's wholly different from the environment that they're used to and show them all of the cool things about that alternate environment, it's magical. It's a magical place. It's a magical time. And magic happens in those situations. It makes people fall in love. It brings people together. Happens all the time. That's why people love destination weddings. Because you go there and it's amazing. It's so amazing. It's so magical and wondrous because you're completely outside of your normal environment. And that's really all it is. It's just the wonderment of being somewhere different. Makes everything cooler. So, it's fucking smart to take leaders from rival gangs, kids that want to actually kill each other, and take them someplace outside of their environment to do magical things, and they share that experience together. Guy's a fucking genius.
I call it the top of the world. This is raw. You know what I mean? I've never seen nothing like this before.
Perhaps a new perspective on the world, each other, and what's possible for a life well lived without violence.
They don't come back kumbaya, home team. But they come back and it's Byron and Devone.
Not that sucker from across town.
Not sucker.
It's a lot harder to shoot someone you know, respect, maybe even like.
Can you maintain that, though, when you get back to
Most
Richmond?
definitely. This is a revolution, you know what I mean? A new era.
For Nightline, I'm Byron Pitts.
You gotta say, man, I don't know. When you talk about putting a price on human life, which is really what it is, that's where it all started for me. The money aspect, right? Paying, the silliness of paying people to not kill other people. But at the same time, you know, you look at that, I mean, that's wholly different. I think that's completely different. I think that is working towards actual change that could spread and grow and make things better for everybody and for all time. Like, I don't know, man. Cause now it's not even really so much the gang thing anymore. It's just fucking the kids just goddamn hate each other, and they're just it is a problem. It's a huge problem, and I think this guy's brilliant. I think his program is brilliant. I love the idea of it. If I was a taxpayer in that community, I'd be all for it. I'd be like, yeah, that's great, man. As long as kids aren't shooting each other, possibly killing me or my family, that's fucking. I'll pay. Sure, why not? It's worth it. It's worth it. If that's what has to happen. But it's not like they're just paying them to not kill each other and then that's it. They're doing real counseling. And they're doing real good counseling, it looks like. And got good numbers, 94%. That's huge. That's great. It just seems totally worth it. I love the idea. I love the whole program. I think it's fantastic. This needs to be McDonald's. There needs to be one on every corner. Because, goddamn, I see that as a possible way of really actually making some good, honest change in some of the worst neighborhoods in this country. And boy, wouldn't that be amazing. And it would improve everything. It would improve employment rates. Dude, it would improve so many things. Oh. Really great idea, and it sounds cheap. It sounds cheap to me. That's where I'm at. At first it started, fuck this shit, I can't believe this shit, and now I'm like, it's cheap. They should get a little bit more funding. So there you go. That's my journey through this video, where I wound up with it. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know what you think in the comments. That'll be fun. Bye. This used to be me. A sad, sad puppy. No food in the fridge, holes in my pillowcase, and all out of... Recently, things have been going great. You all have helped me out a lot. Now I have a fridge full of takeout, new pillowcases, and let's be honest, I'm never out of. But the reason that things have changed around for me like that is because I've had a lot of pressure taken off of me for buying stuff, for making videos for you guys. You guys helped me buy a new capture box when my old one broke. You helped me buy a new PC when the other one turned into poop. And you helped me get to Perfect Circle concerts so that I could share that experiences with you guys. Recently I've kind of had to change the way I do things, but I found another way. You can find me on Maker's Support. I have a link in the description, and if you'd like to donate money to keep this sort of thing going, then that's where you can do it. Thank you very much. Have a good day. I hope you have fun.